Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich as the nation of Nepal. Now, last time we were here together, well, the Indians all started fucking killing each other. Not great stuff, I gotta say. I can't say I'm super enthused about this. I think part of the beauty of our situation was that the buffer state, our status is a buffer state, and the fact that we weren't helping one or the other was quite useful. But it's hard to stay neutral on a moving train. And this train has moved out of the station, and it's not looking great right now, I gotta say. It's not really looking great at all. I wonder what's going on with Burma and Siam. Siam's had one of those really complicated focus trees that I've never been able to understand what was going on with. I might just have to play it one day to understand, but, that'll be easier said than, I'll have to find time to do that, and that's not a given necessarily. Well, we have the Italian Federation now. Even though there's a lot of national popular support there. Okay, we've invited Indian investors. And we've kind of been forced out of this. And I don't know if we'll be able to do anything there. So, 'cause there's some good stuff here. I don't know if this is supposed to be intentional, how it's done. Let's start utilizing our natural beauty. Work on some industry stuff. Although set back by the Indian Revolution, Nepal has begun to develop somewhat of a name of itself amongst many foreigners in regards for its natural beauty. There are countless rich men and women who will pay fortunes to be able to climb our mountains and experience our culture, and there's little reason to deny such visitors the opportunity to provide us with their wealth. That I agree upon. Well, I can think of a couple reasons. I've read too much about the deaths on Mount Everest to ever consider doing that. Not that I'm in a particularly prime physical shape to even consider attempting it, but I don't know if any of you have ever read Into Thin Air, but it was written by John Krakauer, who's a big journalist for one of those Life magazine, like one of those nature magazines. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen this, Oh. Huh. Anyway, if you ever heard of or read Into Thin Air, not Into Thin Air, Into the Wild, the Chris McCandless story, the guy who went around the world and died in a burnt-out bus in Alaska. Kind of captured the attention of a lot of people. I read the book in high school. I liked it well enough, but I never understood what the big deal was about him. Or at least I forgot what it was. But he was hired to do a series of a piece of journalism looking into the process or the whole industry of commercial climbing in Mount Everest, because during starting the early 90s, before climbing Mount Everest was kind of a fool's errand. You did it because you were at the peak of your mountain climbing experience and condition, and you wanted to go ahead and do that and experience that. The thing that comes with that, though, is a a lot of people die. Well, in the 90s, they figured out ways to make the climb up a lot easier, quote unquote. I'll select new focus, and then I'll continue with story time. I kind of want to... I'm considering bypassing, using some console magic to get that done, but I don't think we need to. Let's get rushing down to here, because we do need a field marshal. So let's get working towards... Let's get working on restoring power to the sovereign. Under the Ranas, the king became a mere symbol through which they maintained control over the country. With the government finally loyal to the king, we will rebuild the practical authority of Nepal's sovereign to govern. There we are. So, they found ways to, they put up ropes and ladders across the south slope of Mount Everest, which I think is somewhere around here, I want to say. And it made it pretty viable for people to go up and climb. Now, I think still there was a 25% fatality rate, so it was very risky. But a lot of people were still doing it, and so people figured, you know what, we'll go for it. So, this journalist, John Krakauer, he got invited on one of his tours to be a part of it. And so he did so. And during the hike, there were a couple of different groups. It wasn't just one company doing it. There was a big storm that hit the top around here. And a lot of people died. 8 people total, including 2 of the main guys who ran the different tour companies. Krakauer barely made it down in time. He thinks if he stayed out there much longer, he would have got lost in the storm and probably died. There's a movie they made about it, Everest. It's a pretty entertaining watch, and it captures the story pretty well if you're interested. It has Jake Gyllenhaal, Josh Brolin, a couple Kiwi actors, because the main people who ran this were New Zealanders. Interesting watch. That's really the extent of my knowledge of Nepalese history. Alright, let's get working down on the compromise with the Ranas. Actually, if we go down this, we could get a research slot real quick. Honestly, we could use a research slot right now. Usually I don't worry about it too much, but with how tenuous our situation is, we could really use one. The most important priority in stabilizing Nepal is giving the people a voice. It is only by working with and for the people and their legitimate representatives that we can bring Nepal out of the tyranny of Rana misrule. There we go. The thing is, that's not even the first time people have died on Mount Everest. And the thing about that is when people die on Mount Everest, at least at the top, they can't exactly bring them down. Once you reach a certain elevation, I think it's 27,000 feet above sea level. I apologize to any Europeans or non-imperial systems users. Ooh, what do we have? Well, nowhere nearly as radical opposed to the peace agreement as the LSP. To say that all members of the Parashad are accepting of what we had agreed to for state stability would be a rather significant stretching of the truth. A slew of disagreements, ranging from the opposition to any Rana involvement in the government, to opposing the Palace's role in politics, or even just personal disagreements with the new Prime Minister, has begun to show fractures in the once united party. Those who count themselves most loyal to Acharya have been the first to begin expressing disapproval of the new status quo, significantly objecting to his passing over in favor of the Kairala. At present, however, these disagreements have so far just remained behind closed doors. But paint the picture, more trouble to come. Anyway, I don't know the exact units in communist numbers in the communist system. in order to convert it from Imperial. My apologies there. You'll just have to look it up for exact numbers. But once you reach a certain elevation, the higher you go up, the thinner the air is. I notice it because I live up higher in elevation. I'm not going to give exact numbers, but it's easier for me to go higher or lower. And you notice, the higher you go up, the thinner the air is. Well, after a certain point, when you get up to Mount Everest, it gets to a point where you're not able to... when you breathe, you don't get enough oxygen. It's called the death zone. If you stay up there long enough, never mind all the issues with the cold and the elements and all that, you can run out of oxygen and just fucking die. It's entirely possible for that to happen. So a lot of things will happen. You'll become there's a lot of issues with disorientation. There's a lot of issues with frostbite, being lack of oxygen in the head, fainting because lack of oxygen in the blood. A lot of things can go horribly wrong. Let's go working on royally appointed Baradari Sabas. While we have made significant concessions to popular rule in the best interests of the kingdom, that any popularly elected assembly should be kept in check to prevent the outbreak of mob rule. For this purpose, we will create an appointed upper house of the legislature, staffed by people chosen by the king for their competence and wisdom. There we go. So when you have all that going on, it's hard to coordinate rescue operations. And so what ends up happening a lot of the times is that if people die on Mount Everest, their bodies stay on Mount Everest. They aren't brought down. Actually, a lot of the bodies end up being used as markers. There's a pretty famous case of this guy. I forget his exact name. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But he was left for dead on a tour, but he survived about 2 days after he was left for dead. Guy left for dead on Everest. Here we go. Start of the Third Boer War. Well, South Africa being troublesome. What else is new? It's priorities of need for education. Oh, that's Lincoln Hall. I wasn't thinking him. Is this Beck Everett? Oh, that's not... Well, there's so many guys who've been stuck on Mount Everest. Anyway, I'm going to read this real quick and then we'll get to it. For Nepal to have a bright future, its people must be ready to deal with the challenges of the modern world. The core of achieving such a prepared population is education, equipping the populace with knowledge and skills that will serve them in Nepal for years to come. So there are too many people. Well, there was a guy, there was Lincoln Hall, who was left for dead, but found alive the next day, and they brought him down. He survived. There was, what's the other guy? Beck Weathers, who was part of Krakauer's expedition. He was left for dead, along with a couple other people in this group, including the first woman who managed to climb the 7 summits, a Japanese lady. Sadly, she didn't get to live to tell the tale. But they left both of them for dead. Beck Weathers somehow managed to fucking stumble his way down to the base, the camp. Like, hey, I'm still alive, help me. Lost almost all of his fingers. And, let's get that going, yeah. Lost a fair few of his fingers. I think his nose as well. Might have lost his hands as well, honestly. Not great at all, but managed to live. But there was another guy. It's a pretty famous body. Body used as a marker on Everest. There's green boots on the northeast ridge, which I think is the Tibet side. Here's the thing I'm realizing now. There are so many bodies. They all blend together. Prioritize the need for education. There we go. We got that going. Let's... I think we should build around an elite core. I think that's going to be our best play. And now that I see the commune is about to capitulate, I think that's something we should start working down towards. The future of the Nepalese army depends on us building upon the elite traditions that made soldiers from Nepal renowned and feared across the world. Rather than upending what has clearly shown itself to be highly effective, we will focus on ensuring the whole army of Nepal lives up to the reputation set by its best. There we go. Yeah, they just use bodies as markers up there to figure out, okay, there's Tim's body. We take a left up here right now. Up there's Greg. Yeah, we keep going a couple meters. It's very macabre stuff. Part of me wonders why people bother climbing Mount Everest at this point, but part of me also gets it. You know, it's the idea of climbing something just to show yourself you can do it. So I kind of get that, and to a degree I even respect it, but it's sketchy as all hell, man. I couldn't do it. I'm not much of a climber to begin with anyway. I can barely get myself to climb out of bed most days. So anything else beyond that is a little intimidating. If you're watching this, would you ever consider climbing Mount Everest? Leave a comment down below to let me know. What do you think of that? What do you think of that idea? I have let that go for a little bit longer than I should have. That's my bad. I'm getting distracted by the war going on. Plus, I'm thinking about dead people on Everest. This will give us a military factor. We should probably rush down that before we do anything there. Let's do the implementation of conscription. Even with many Nepali men being willing to sign up for the armed forces with a prodding, the deteriorating situation of the region means that even these volunteers are likely not enough to defend the nation if we were under threat. We should therefore move to implementing a system of conscription to ensure national security. Okay. Well, that's a bit of a messy border situation. I just saw that border change right in real time. That's crazy. Okay. So the question... What childish fantasy. The question exists to whether or not these guys have to fight each other before they can do anything against us, or whether one of them can go after us right now. Okay, no, yeah, they still have to aid each other before they do anything. They still have to fight it out amongst each other. So that's good to know. Let's invest in the Naku rifle workshops. Nepal's never been known for its production of firearms, but quite a few attempts at producing rifles of our own were carried out by the late Jahendra Shumsher, Rana, and Nakhu. Well, not exactly impressive. The leftover equipment being used for these operations is certainly better than nothing for reviving production efforts, so it should be used as our starting point. I love the music going on. It's very, very soothing. Yep, there we go. It looks like the Federation has a bit of a... advantage right now, which is nice to see. Scott no Mon has capitulated. That's rough, buddy. They're an Ottoman puppet. Interesting. I didn't realize that. And the Ottomans have Core and Bahrain starting off. That's also... And Qatar. Okay. I haven't played in this region for a while. Or, I haven't played Kaiserreich in a while, much less this region. Do we not have support equipment? Oh my god, we don't even have support equipment. I didn't even realize that. My god. Oh, that's crazy. Where do we even get support? Oh dear. Yeah, we should, we need to get working on this right away. Do we... Okay, yeah, we can pick that up later, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, we'll put the extra research into the guns right now. Meanwhile, yeah, let's... We have a lot more else to work. Okay, well, looks like now we can revive the government railway plan. So let's get working on that. Plans for the first railway in Nepal, which aimed to connect local logging industries near the border borders in India, were completely scuppered by the Indian Revolution. With the situation in both India and Nepal stable enough, these plans should be revived as a foundation of rail transport in Nepal. See, I'm open for that. Well, it looks a little bit more contentious now than it was before, but... Okay, well, I want my investment back. I'm taking my, There we go. Is that a little lame and sucky? Yeah. Do I care particularly right now? No. You can work down this as well if we so desire. Do I, though? Working down the dam actually would be good. So let's start with paving the postal highway. The Postal Highway project was initiated at the start of a decade with the goal of having one continuous road run along the entire southern border of the country, primarily focused on postal delivery as the name implies. Much of the project still remains unfinished, however, and it should be national priorities to further its development with the government now much more stable. Oh no. I'd still give the advantage to the Deccan Federation, though. Natal's joined the Entente. Interesting. Also have Southern Rhodesia there. This is supposed to be Northern Rhodesia, right? Yeah, that's right. Zambia is Northern Rhodesia. It was Northern Rhodesia. Come on, crush him, crush him, crush him. Pocket, pocket, pocket. We can send volunteers, can't we? Yeah, we can. We probably should, actually, honestly. Do we have much in the way? We have hills up here. Alright, let's get 2 of our guys. Let's give them to... give him to Mabahir over here. Let's send those volunteers to the Deccan Federation. That way we have something to do. So we had a national focus for it, I think. Yep, surviving the Indian nightmare. I don't think I've read this before, so let's do it. War in India is erupted once more. In the future, not only India hangs in balance, with the outcome almost certainly set to shape Nepal's future as well. Nepali leadership now faces the difficult task of steering the nation through this crisis. Hope it can emerge free and in one piece by the end of it. There we go. I even checked, actually, and I don't think any of you know this necessarily off the top of your heads. But I want to check and see if there are any awards. Survive a second Weltkrieg. Well, that's easy enough. No, Nepal does not have any specific awards for it. Which I suppose I'm not shocked about. But also, you know, it could be fun to have something there. Alright, what do we want to do with these guys? Let's send them up to here. Let's get the new guns going as well. Oh, wait. Let's pick up, once again, on concentrated industry. How's this coming along? It'll be done in December of 41. Okay. That's not as far as it was when we first started this game. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said. Alright, I say we work down, just cracking this out, see if we can get knocked out. Oh, the dam, though. Let's do the dam first, and we'll work on the rest of this. For quite a few years now, plans have been put in place to construct a hydroelectric plant of some sort at the source of the Bagmati River in Sunda Rijal. A small gravity dam in this location would be perfect for providing electricity to Kathmandu. With the recent growth in industrial capacity, we are in at last position to actually construct such a station. Beautiful. Well, that's all dealt with, which actually works out okay for us. We're going to go over here, and we are going to go ahead and see if we can't do any pushes along this border. We can't. Fair enough. What are these divisions looking like anyway? I never took a good look at them. No, they're not bad. They're not great, though. I'll add another unit of... I think I'll head out over here and see if we can't do some damage here. Because we have mountains right here, and, you know, these are our mountaineers. I want to see if we can't do some damage out in this area. It looks like the Beijing government is doing quite well. We'll help out over here, and if we can crush the Burmese front, then they can push out, send these troops back over here, and that, I think, will be, potentially, you know, we'll wait and see. That should be pretty decisive and figure out this conflict, potentially. We should probably do the, work on the, quarter pounder as well. Get artillery going. I can't believe I didn't realize we didn't have support equipment, and that's actually wild. Do they have fucking camels? Those are camels they have. What the heck? Okay. Alright, let's work towards a national highway network. While the Postal Highway project started by the Run is certainly a fantastic starting point, we must dream bigger and seek to connect the entire nation through a grand network of highways. Although unlikely to be completed anytime soon, even the most basic development is likely to be repeat a major short-term benefits for the nation. There we go. How are we doing building slot? What? We have 10 in Nepal now. That's actually great. That is actually huge. Well, it looks like we got pushed out from there. Well, let's work on pushing these camel jockeys out. Philippines joins the spear. Interesting. Let's keep these guys in here. Do a little pushing there. Attack into here. Okay, we're not pushing there. We're going to push into here fully. Actually, the Germans go in there. We'll help out the Germans. We'll just go and take credit for that. Look at what we did. I'm not going to have any volunteer. I'm not going to keep a front line. I'm just going to maneuver around. I know what I am going to do, though. Attack into there. I'm going to end the video off here, my friends. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you have any comments or feedback, leave them in the comment section below. I read all comments I get, and I do appreciate any all feedback you have for me. Check out my various links down in the description box below. Leave any comments, feedback down there as well. And if you want to keep updated with uploads as they come out, usually on weekdays and Saturdays you can expect them, go ahead and hit the sub button and the notification bell to keep updated with them. I'm going to leave it there for now, though, my friends. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.